clocks were born without a sound, inside a world that turned around. No one remembers when they learned the seconds never once returned. The morning folded into night, without a reason, wrong or right. Just endless cycles drawn in there, like something waiting to be there. I used to think that time was real, a line that nothing could repeal. But every moment that I've known feels like it's only being shown. And time keeps moving like it's breathing, even when nothing feels like meaning. Every passing trace leaves a silent space. I don't need to run from everything that's come and gone. Maybe time is not a stream, but what we build inside a dream. The hours drift without a name, no two of them are quite the same. The past dissolves into the sky, like questions no one answers why. The future doesn't knock a call, it simply waits inside it all. And somewhere in the in-between, I found a version of unseen. I don't know why we count the days as if they never drift away, but every breath I've ever took was writing something in a book. Maybe every second lost was never really any cause of transformation. Maybe every empty space was only giving us a place for creation. I am moment, I am now, learning how to not ask how anymore. And the hardest thing to feel is nothing ever has been real without us. Now I see the clock is only listening to the way my consciousness is shimmering. It doesn't measure life, it follows what I feel. The seconds don't move unless I move within them. The past is not behind me, it's only where I choose to stand. So I stop chasing what I thought was gone, because time was never leading, it was responding. And maybe I was never inside it, maybe it was always inside me, waiting to be called by the way I choose to exist. The old oak stood beside the hill, its roots ran deep, its heart stood still. It welcomed spring with tender leaves, then watched them dance away in breeze. The summer wrapped its arms around, with golden light upon the ground. The branches reached beyond the sky without asking how or why. I used to fear what change would take the parts of me I couldn't save. But every tree I've walked beside has never begged the leaves to stay. And the branches sway with every season, never asking winter for a reason. Every falling leaf feeds the roots beneath. I don't have to hold everything I've ever known. Baby, letting go is how the strongest forests learn to grow. just the earth and flame. No two leaves ever fell the same. The winter came with quiet snow, yet life still whispered down below. The robins found the tree again when April warmed the fields with rain. And every bud upon its stems remember where to start again. I don't know why the cold must stay before the blossom finds its day, but every circle nature draws has purpose hidden in its pause. Maybe every empty branch was making room for brighter skies above my head. Maybe every season lost was planning something I could not see just yet. I'm a seed and I'm a tree, learning both if can live in me at once. And the hardest thing to trust is nothing living ever grows without change. Now I watch the forest breathing slowly, every season telling one whole story. Spring never apologizes for following winter. The leaves never argue with the wind that sets them free. The roots don't fear the branches reaching higher. They belong to the same tree. So maybe every version of myself was never meant to stay forever. The child I was, the dreams I lost, the roads I left behind. They're not gone, they're the rings inside the trunk that no one sees. Yet every year they hold me higher. And if tomorrow asks me to become someone new, I'll answer the way the old oak always has, by growing. By growing. The cosmos learn to fall apart into the corners of a heart, where nothing ever stays intact, but nothing ever fades to black. The galaxies became a thought, too vast to ever be forgot. It's small enough to fit inside a moment that we call alive. I used to think that memory was only what was left of me, but every image I recall feels like it's breathing through it all. And memory keeps rebuilding silence, turning loss into invisible guidance. Every broken view still connects the truth. I don't need to hold every story I was told. Maybe what we once believed is just the universe that dreams. It's just the universe that dreams. The past arrived and scattered light through fragments of a shattered night. No order in the way it falls, just echoes moving through the walls. The future doesn't stay the same, it shifts whenever we call its name. And somewhere in the mental sky, I see the things I thought had died. I don't know why some pieces stay while others slowly drift away, but every memory I keep fragment lost was never really any cost, just redistribution. Maybe every missing part was only finding where to start. Revolution. I am witness, I am trace, a temporary resting place for something vast. And the hardest thing to know is nothing ever lets us go completely. Now I feel the universe is whispering through the fractures of my remembering. It doesn't have to be seen, it has to be felt. The stars don't live above, they scatter through perception. And every thought I think is a place the cosmos passes through. So I stop calling this my own memory, because even what I forget is still happening somewhere. And maybe I was never remembering the universe. Maybe the universe was remembering itself as me. The meadows stretch beneath the sun, where countless little lives begun. A field of white on slender stems, like tiny stars on earthly land. The breeze arrived without a sound, it danced across the open ground. One gentle breath was all it took to change the ending of the bloom. I used to fear the winds of change, the rose had never looked the same. But every seed I watched take flight was carried farther than its sight. And the dandelions trust the morning, leaving home without a single warning. Every drifting seed follows where it's free. I don't need to know every place I'm meant to grow. Maybe hope begins to fly when we open to the sky. The hills embrace the wandering breeze, it whispered softly through the trees. The rivers welcome what arrived without asking where it came from. Some seeds settled by quiet streams, some reached forgotten mountain peaks, some disappear beyond the view, yet everyone belongs somewhere. I don't know where tomorrow lives, or what tomorrow plans to bring, but every flower starts its faith before it ever wears a name. Maybe every open hand was never meant to hold forever, only to release. Maybe every goodbye hides 1,000 unseen welcomes in the wind. I'm a seed upon the breeze, learning distance doesn't mean I'm alone. And the hardest thing to trust is sometimes letting go is how we bloom now. Now I see the wind was never taken, it was quietly introducing me to places I could never reach by staying where I began. The meadow never calls its children back, it smiles as the hills become gardens. The sky doesn't choose which seed deserves to grow, it simply opens for every wing, every leaf, every dream. So maybe the bravest roots are not the ones that never move. Maybe they're the ones that first learn how to fly. And if one day someone finds a flower where nothing once could grow, seed that trusted an invisible wind. The clouds grew heavy through the dawn. Above the hills where light was born, they held 1,000 silver dreams, waiting to become the streams. The forest listened from below, the skies preparing to let go. Each trembling leaf embraced the air, as if it knew what soon was there. I used to think that falling down meant losing everything I'd found, but every raindrop leaves the sky to learn another way to rise. And the raindrops fall without resistance, turning little moments into rivers. Every winding street starts with one small dream. I don't have to know where every step is meant to go. Maybe faith begins to flow long before the ocean shows. The rivers laugh through fields of green, reflecting places they'd never seen. They carve the valley stone by stone, without demanding to be known. The waterfalls embrace the air and found the quiet waiting there. And every current moving on was singing where it came from. I don't know why the longest roads are drawn by water soft and slow, but every river I've looked upon was shaped by choosing to move on. Maybe every fallen tear was only teaching me to hear the earth below. Maybe every distant sea was quietly calling out to me all along. I'm a raindrop in the sky, learning every goodbye can become another beginning, another river, another song. Nothing living keeps the same shape forever. Now I see the ocean never hurried. Every river found it in its own way. The rain never asked if it was enough. The sea never counted how many drops arrived. The clouds never mourned the water they released, because they knew nothing beautiful is ever truly lost. It only changes hands between the earth and sky. So if today I feel too small to matter, I'll remember every ocean was once impossible to imagine for a single drop of rain. Every sunrise knows the way. The morning found the open fields where drops of dew on grasses shone, each little light upon the earth Looked like the sky had fallen on home. A quiet path beneath my feet. Remembered every soul who passed, yet never asked them where they'd been. It simply welcomed every step. I used to think the brightest days belonged to those who never fell, but even dawn is born each time from hours hidden in the dark. Every sunrise knows the way, even after the longest shadows. Every golden ray finds another place to awaken life. I don't have to see every mile ahead of me. Maybe hope is only this, taking one more step toward the light. Beside the road, without pretending to be stars, it only lit a little space, enough to guide one heart along. The meadow danced beneath the wind, no blade of grass was quite the same, yet all of them became a song whenever summer called their names. Perhaps the sky has always smiled those who slowly learn to trust. Every season leaves behind a gift that the next one understands. Maybe all the dreams I've lost have become the soil beneath the ones still waiting to grow. Maybe every silent tear was watering the garden I could never see until today. Walking through the unknown, I'll carry a quiet light inside my heart, like the sunrise always has, not asking the darkness to disappear, only choosing to shine anyway. The bamboo stood beside the stream, beneath the morning's gentle gleam. Its slender leaves embraced the air, like quiet hands in whispered prayer. The mountains watched from far away, as clouds were carried into gray. A restless wind began to rise, and gathered all the darkened skies. I used to think that standing tall meant never having to bend at all, courage sometimes means learning how to lean with the breeze. The rain arrived with steady hands, awakening the silent land. The rushing stream began to sing as if it welcomed everything. The sparrows settled once again among the softly swaying stems. The sunlight found the emerald leaves, through drops the morning chose to keep. I don't know why the wildest winds so often visit gentle things, but every forest after rain stands greener than it did before. Maybe every storm I feared was carving out a quieter heart within my own. Maybe every restless gust was teaching words to hold the earth a little more. I'm a branch beneath the sky, learning I don't have to rise without giving way. And the hardest thing to trust is gentleness can outlast what force cannot. Now the valley hums beneath the sunlight, every leaf remembers last night's wild sky. The wind never came to prove I was too weak. It came to teach me a different way to stand. The bamboo never envies the mountain's solid stone, because each of them carries strength in its own language. The river keeps flowing, the clouds keep wandering, the birds keep returning, not because the world has stopped changing, but because they learn that change belongs here too. So if tomorrow's winds call out my name, I won't ask them to pass me by. I'll answer like the bamboo always has, by singing while I sway. Pine trees whispered to the dawn before the waking birds had sung. Mist was drifting through the hills like quiet dreams the night fulfilled. The ocean breathed beyond the shore, the same as countless years before. Each gentle wave would kiss the sand, then disappear without command. I used to chase the morning light, afraid that darkness meant goodbye. But every star I've ever known still waited for the night to come. And the forest never hurries growing, every ring remembers years of hoping. Every silent day shapes us in its way. I don't need to run faster than the rising sun. Maybe life was never meant to be measured by how quickly we become. The snowfall wrapped the earth in white without a single need for praise. Beneath the frozen sleeping ground, 1,000 seeds were gathering strength. The robin sang when spring returned, not because the winter failed, but but because both seasons knew they belonged inside the same sky. The wind has never asked the trees to bloom forever into green. It simply comes, then moves along, trusting life to write the song. Maybe every empty field is only making room for flowers still unseen. Maybe every lonely night is teaching little flames how bright a heart can be. I'm beginning to believe peace is not the end of storms, but learning how to breathe while clouds are passing over me. Now the mountains glow beneath the sunrise. Every stone remembers ancient rivers. The rain never came to take the colors away. It came to help the roots grow deeper. Stars never shine because they fear the dark. They shine because darkness is where they belong. The sea keeps singing, the wind keeps wandering, the earth keeps turning. Not because nothing ever changes, but because everything changes with grace. And if tomorrow finds me somewhere I have never been, I'll greet it like the forest always has, standing quietly, growing slowly, trusting that every season knows my name. The meadow beneath the gray, where quiet river softly lay. A blanket woven out of air had wrapped the earth with patient care. The pine tree stood in silent rows, guarding secrets no one knows. The lake reflected almost none while waiting for the rising sun. I used to fear the things I couldn't see, the roads concealed in mystery. But every dawn I've wandered through has hidden wonders in its view. And the morning keeps the mist for a reason, holding dreams between the changing seasons. Every hidden shore waits a little more. I don't need to know everything beyond the glow. Maybe faith begins to grow long before the light can show. The robin sang before first light, as if it knew the sun was near. Wildflowers lifted sleepy heads, still covered by the silver air. The breeze grew warm across the hills, the mist let go without a fight. It drifted gently toward the sky, like it had finished being night. I don't know why some answers come only after we move on, but every sunrise I've embraced arrived exactly when it should. Maybe every clouded view was softly teaching me to trust what I could not hold. Maybe every waiting hour was quietly becoming strength deep below. dream. Across the edges of the town, streetlights were flickering low and kind, like hearts that learned to settle down. A comet traced a silent arc, no hurry in its burning line, as if the sky had made a rule that even light must take its time. I used to think I lagged behind, while others burned across the sky. But every star I've come to know was born in darkness first, alone. The stars don't fall late or early, they arrive when the sky feels ready. Every glowing trace has its rightful place. I don't need to race through the endless empty space. Maybe destiny is just learning when to shine without fear. The ocean mirrored all the night, like it was holding every thought, each wave returning what it took, without regretting what it lost. A firefly with tiny sparks across the silence of the grass, not trying to become the sun, just happy being what it has. Maybe the world was never wrong for taking longer with my name. Perhaps becoming who I am was never meant to feel the same. Maybe all the times I broke were just the sky rearranging every piece of light inside me. Maybe silence wasn't empty, it was only space for something I could not yet see. And maybe healing was never loud, maybe it was the slow return of light to where it belongs. Now the constellations breathe above me, like they've known my story all along. Every drifting spark finds its way through dark. I don't need to prove that I'm closer to the moon. Maybe I was never late, maybe I was burning how to shine in my own exact moment. The sky keeps turning, the night keeps listening, the stars keep falling, not because they're lost, but because they trust the universe to catch them. And if tomorrow calls my name from somewhere far away, I won't run, I won't hide, I'll simply rise like the stars always